My name is Travis. My name is Travis. I am from San Diego, California. As a kid, I would say that I was very busy. Grew up doing a lot of sports, as most kids did, I feel. Took my schoolwork very seriously and tried to hang out with friends as much as I could. I feel like we hear a lot that parents project their dreams on their kids and kind of have an expectation of what their kids should be. But me and my sister's parents didn't do that. They just kind of let us pursue our passions and our interests, and they kind of supported us, whatever that was. We could be a band geek or a jock or whatever it is that we wanted to do, and they would kind of support us, whatever that was. I grew up doing a lot of sports just because it was fun. You know, you get the social aspect of it. You meet friends. You have an opportunity to be competitive. And as that transitioned into high school, I think that's when it was more pressure because it was more about looking good for college applications and stuff like that rather than kind of just doing it for the love of it. But I think that love was still there at the core. Haven't played lacrosse since high school, but that transition to the gym has been my main thing since. I don't think it was a self-image problem. I think I have worse self-image now because of the body dysmorphia. I think I just started going just because you go to the gym to get stronger and be better at your sport, and then it just kind of stuck around. I've met a lot of friends through the gym as well, and just kind of that community. I just really like the people there and what going to the gym is all about. You wake up, you go to work every day. It's just something that you do, right? It's part of your daily routine. I think I view the gym the same way. It's not really a chore. It's not really a hobby. It's just there. It's just part of life. Obviously, I went to the gym a lot in college. That kind of led to me becoming a personal trainer. So I was personal trainer at Crunch, eventually transitioned to sales at 24 Hour Fitness. And at 24 Hour Fitness, I made a lot of friends who were very serious in the gym, including, my manager did bodybuilding competitions and everything. And I think all that influence eventually convinced me to do my own bodybuilding show, just to try it out, just see how I do. And so I did that in 2022. Did a natural show. My friends coached me. It wasn't a super serious thing. I wasn't trying to make it my thing when I was on stage and getting that trophy or medal or whatever it was. Just knowing that all that hard work kind of paid off, and it wasn't some participation trophy like you get as a kid. It was real, and I think that kind of sparked the competitive side of me, which eventually led to me pursuing running also and just endurance sports. Did that bodybuilding show in 2022. Started running the end of 2023, and I did a half Ironman in 2024, ran marathon in 2025, and then I just ran an ultra in 2026. So an ultra marathon is technically anything over a marathon, so anything longer than 26.2. What I did was a 100-mile race. It started on the Atlantic Ocean, so it started literally on the beach of the Atlantic Ocean, ran 100 miles through the entire country and ended on the Pacific Ocean. And we're talking through rivers, mud, the whole deal. Climbed a mountain. I think that has easily been the hardest thing I've ever done in my life. I kind of understand the sport now. I think 3 months ago, if you had told me that I was going to run an ultra, I would look at you like you're crazy. Because what kind of psycho is going to run 100 miles? And I'm guessing that's what most people think when I tell them that I did. I didn't understand it, and I don't think you can understand it until you run one. There's a beauty in purposely taking yourself somewhere that you don't think you can come back from, and then grabbing yourself by the bootstraps and pulling yourself out of that pit. I think that it gives you a high that nothing can match. During that race, I reached a very dark place. I have never experienced so much self-doubt, and I don't want to say self-hatred, but definitely a little bit of hatred. I've never felt less confident in myself in the middle of that race. And then to come out of that and to cross the finish line at the end, it's like it gives you a feeling like, there's nothing I can't do. I think I shot myself in the foot a little bit for this race. So we flew down there Thursday night. We took a red eye and got there Friday morning, and the race was Friday night. And my theory is that I live in Denver. We got the elevation, And if I can get there as last minute as possible, I can have that elevation, give me the edge. I slept for like 2 hours on that plane. We were go, go, go once we landed. We had to get to here, to here, to here, and then get to the race. They've been doing this race for, I think, 7 years now, and they told me that it was by far like the worst weather they've ever had. So the trail was ridiculously muddy, 45-degree inclines, and I'm knee deep in mud. Would climb to the top of the hill and just slide back down to the bottom. For a normal half marathon for me, it would take, just under 2 hours. The first 13 miles of this race took me over 6. The race starts at 6 p.m. It's midnight. It's pitch black out. I'm exhausted. I'm running on no sleep. And in my head, I've been going for 6 hours now. I've made it 13 miles. How the heck am I going to get the last 87 miles? I think that, believe it or not, was the lowest point, was that first 13. I remember sitting down on the side of the trail and just like thinking for a little bit. I'm not going to lie, my saving grace ended up being the fundraiser that I did. Normally I would go and run this race and then come back and be like, oh yeah, I ran this race. This time I was doing a fundraiser, so I was doing a lot of advertising and kind of spreading the word that, hey, I'm going to be running this 100-mile ultra marathon. In that moment, I was like, I really did not think I could do it. But in the back of my head, I was like, I cannot come back and be like, I made it 13 miles out of a 100-mile race. So that was the only thing that I had going. I popped some caffeine pills. I chugged some water and just like went to work, I guess. At that point, it was just pure grit, just getting through that wall. I did have a pacer for the last 30-ish miles. So I think the official point was 65, 66 miles in. And so in my head, I knew that when I got to her, I was going to finish. I knew that she would get me to the finish line. That being said, the other main checkpoint is at 33. So when I get to 33, I'm halfway there. So the first 33 was all at night. It was pitch black. That's when the mud was the worst. I definitely hit a couple other low points for the rest of the way where I was questioning if I was going to finish. But in that moment, when I got to 33, it was like, yeah, I'm going to finish this thing. I'm going to finish this thing. I was told that if you can run 30 miles, then you can run 100. At that point, it's all mental. And I think that's what gets most people. So in my head, if you can run a marathon, you can run an ultra marathon. It's really just all mental. And I thought that was going to be easy. I was like, oh yeah, I got this. I did not realize how low point I was going to hit. At the end of the day, like, we all need to do something that proves to ourselves that we're stronger than we think we are. And that doesn't have to be a 100-mile ultra marathon. It can be going into the gym for the first time if you're overweight and you're scared what other people think. It could be having the courage to quit the job that you're miserable at and go pursue your dream. A lot of us struggle with more self-doubt than we show. And there's nothing that anyone can say or do that can make us feel better about that. I think the only thing that can be done is proving to ourselves that we're stronger than we think we are. I have a very 100% attitude when I do something. When I was on bodybuilding prep, in my head, I'm going to follow my diet to a T. I'm going to do everything that my coach says to a T. Because if I step on stage and I get second place, it's going to haunt me for the rest of the time that, I did 2 extra cheat meals. If I didn't do those, who knows, I could have won. So when I do something, I want to give it everything that I possibly have. And if I still fall short, it's okay. It's fine because I gave it everything I had. But I think the guilt of not giving it your all hurts way more than, I guess, not being enough. A lot of people think that because I do races that I must love running. No, I hate running. I absolutely hate running. I get really bad runner's knee. I used to get really bad shin splints before I started running consistently. I truly do hate running with a passion. I'll go for a run in the morning and it is the worst 45 minutes of my day. But then from that point on, my day is great. I can be sitting in the office bored out of my mind. But my run is over. I think pushing ourselves to do things that we don't like to do, but we know are good for us, is what helps us become stronger and it helps us appreciate the things that we do like with a bigger capacity. I feel good after the race, and it was the same thing about the bodybuilding show and half Ironman. I think I have the satisfaction and self accomplishment that I completed it. My issue is that that's only going to last so long. I have the personality that I want to chase the next big thing, the next crazy thing. I don't know what that's going to be yet, but I know that I am going to want to top it at some point. It does help me to push myself to be a better version of myself every single day, and helps me to experience a more fulfilling life, knowing that I'm constantly improving myself, but also constantly experiencing new things. I know a lot of people don't necessarily have that ambition, that drive. I think it would be awesome to not feel the need to go to the gym every day, not feel the need to go run 100 miles. But I think it also is the reason that I get to experience life in a more fulfilling way. And I think it also contributes to me just being a better version of myself. There's a lot of people that are too scared to do things in their lives because they don't think that they're capable of it. And if they just went out on a limb and went for it, that feeling that they get when they do accomplish it, there's nothing like it. And I think that when they experience that, they will continue to chase that feeling. And I think that's what helps us grow as humans and helps us be the best versions of ourselves. If I could talk to my younger self, I think I would tell him to not be scared to pursue the things that he wants to pursue. I know it's cliche to say chase your dreams, and it's easier said than done, but I don't know. I think if younger me could meet current me, I think he would be shocked at the things that he could do. People look at me and they see that I've traveled to some crazy places and that I've done some crazy feats. I think I just want them to understand that there's nothing special about me and that they could be doing all those same things. Obviously, we're all starting at different points, but every single person watching this video could run 100 miles one day. And every single person watching this video can do the crazy adventures that I've done and go to the wacky countries that I've seen. I guess the best piece of advice I would want to give someone is to delay their short-term ambitions and their short-term desires to pursue something that is bigger. Whether that's, making that sacrifice to start going to the gym or to start running or start getting in shape, or whether it's, cooking at home instead of door dashing Taco Bell so you can save $10 you can put towards a trip. Society has taught us that we should make ourselves happy in the moment, when in reality, if we're willing to delay that happiness and make a sacrifice in the short term, I think the long-term benefit far exceeds the short-term joy. The thing that's shaped me the most is honestly my faith. It has been one of my biggest struggles, but I think it's supposed to be as well. Like I said, my parents never really pressured me on anything. My mom is Christian, but she never forced any of that on us. By not pressuring me or my sister to be Christians, it helps us finding our faiths to be more genuine and more real. But I think that before I found God, I was really going through the motions. Finding Jesus, it gave my life purpose. I think that a lot of us struggle with, finding a reason to get out of bed every day and trying to figure out, why am I here? What am I doing? What is the purpose of my life? And I would encourage you to, explore your faith. I'll be the first to admit, a lot of Christians are very prideful. And I guess I would just encourage you to not base your opinion of Christianity and everything off of the people that you've met, but base it off of Jesus. And I would encourage you to go to a local church service, whether that's with your friend or by yourself, because Jesus wants a relationship with each and every one of us. That every church service is different, but the one that you walk into is the one that he wants you to hear. And obviously it's for everyone else in the room as well, but I think there's a reason that you went into church on the day that you did. And I think Jesus is trying to tell you something very specific, very directed to you, that I think will change your life. That being said, I also want to express that the church is not the religion, right? The church is a way for you to learn about who Jesus is, but the religion is your relationship with Jesus. I think I'd want to be remembered as someone who has experienced every aspect of life. And when I say that, I mean, obviously they've got the crazy dad lore. They've done the crazy things. They've seen the world. But I think that also means, being a loving father to his future family. I think I'd want to be remembered as someone who cares about his friends. And I think I want to be remembered as someone who's very devoted to their faith.
Coming